Prince Harry, a self-proclaimed humanitarian, is making waves again, this time by reportedly blowing through Invictus Games funds to secure pop diva Katy Perry for the event's opening ceremony. The 2025 Invictus Games in Vancouver promised to be more spectacle than sincerity, with Katy Perry, Harry's Montecito neighbour, headlining the opening ceremony. Perry, who's known for hits like Raw and Firework, may no longer dominate the charts, but she's apparently still expensive enough to raise eyebrows. While there are claims that she's performing for free out of the goodness of her heart, whispers abound that her travel, accommodation and security costs are anything but modest. At an estimated $5 million price tag for similar performances, one might wonder if a Canadian artist, perhaps someone local, could have delivered the same impact for a fraction of the cost. After all, isn't this about the veterans? The financial math for the Invictus Games is starting to look as mysterious as Harry's Netflix ratings. Reports suggest that veterans, the very heroes the event's supposedly honouring, are expected to cover their travel, lodging and even health insurance. Meanwhile, the Sussex duo jet around in first-class luxury, ensuring that their comfort's prioritised over the very people they're meant to celebrate. This isn't just about Katy Perry's bill, the whole event reeks of extravagance at the expense of authenticity. Canadian taxpayers contributed a whopping $30 million to support the Games. How much of that's going towards actual veterans? Hard to say, but judging by the headline acts and the Sussex's royal treatment, it's clear that the veterans are not the priority. While Katy Perry belts out Firework to a crowd of A-listers and government officials, injured veterans are left to fend for themselves. One harrowing story emerged from the last Games, where a veteran learnt that the event didn't cover medical bills for injuries sustained during competition. You'd think Prince Harry, whose family healing speeches have become an obligatory prelude to his appearances, might step in and cover the costs personally. However, he didn't. For a man who regularly lectures the world about compassion and service, this oversight is as ironic as it is infuriating. Couldn't Harry dip into his multi-million-dollar bank account to help? Of course, but that would mean less money for VIP perks and celebrity cameos. Critics have dubbed the Invictus Games a vanity project masquerading as a charitable cause. What began as a noble effort to uplift wounded veterans has evolved into a Hollywood spectacle where the veterans feel more like props than participants. The guest list alone is telling. Perry, Orlando Bloom and other A-listers with tenuous connections to military service. The Sussexes reportedly hosted Perry and Bloom at their daughter Lilibet's birthday party, strengthening their cosy Hollywood alliances. Clearly being neighbours with Harry and Meghan has its perks, especially if you're an artist trying to recapture your former glory. And yet, Perry's involvement has left many questioning her motives. Is this about helping veterans or reviving her career? Some critics argue that she's simply hopping aboard the Invictus train for a slice of the publicity pie. As Canadian taxpayers digest the news that their $30 million investment is funding Katy Perry's glitzy opening act, frustration's mounting. Wouldn't it make more sense to showcase Canadian talent? Imagine Nelly Furtado or The Weeknd headlining artists with genuine ties to the country. Instead, they're left to watch an imported act soak up millions, while veterans struggle to afford basic necessities. With each passing year, the Invictus Games seem less about the veterans and more about Harry's quest for relevance. The high-profile guests, exorbitant costs, and questionable financial priorities paint a bleak picture. Critics argue it's time to re-evaluate or even shut down the Games entirely. If the goal is to honour veterans, there are far better ways to do so than funneling millions into celebrity-driven vanity projects.